Hi, welcome to Mad English TV. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you how to rent a car. Okay. Now, most people rent cars at airports, right? So maybe you're coming to Canada on a trip and you need to rent a car in Vancouver or Toronto and go on a fun road trip, right? So then at the airport, you need to look for a sign that says car rental. It'll look something like this, okay? And you'll probably see a bunch of different car rental companies, right? So maybe Budget, National, Hertz. So it's a good idea to talk to a few of these companies so you get an idea of what the price will be. You know, if you just go to one company, they might charge you a really high price. But if you go to this company and they say, we're going to charge you $500, then you can go over here and you can say, well, those people said $500. Can you beat this price? Okay, so try to get the best price. You might end up saving a lot of money. Okay, so the conversation to rent a car is very simple. Okay, you walk up to the counter and you say, hi, I'd like to rent a car, right? And this person will say, what size of car would you like? Okay, so here are the different sizes of vehicles. We have economy, compact, intermediate, full size, premium, mid-size SUV, and we have a minivan, convertible, and a full-size SUV. And you'll probably want to rent either economy or compact because they're the cheapest. And to be honest, I don't know if there's a difference between economy and compact. I don't think there's any difference, but for some reason, car rental companies have both of these categories, economy and compact. I think they're the exact same vehicles. Okay, so you could say, I'd like an economy car. Okay, and he's going to say, okay, we have a Kia Rio or a Chevy Spark. So then you could say, how much would it cost to rent the Kia? And he's going to say, how many days would you like to rent it for? And you're going to say, I'd like to rent it for 5 days. And he's going to say, okay, it'll be $345. All right, so that's how the conversation will go. It's very simple, but the confusing thing comes when you start talking about the policy and the options. Okay, so you're going to need to sign a rental contract. In that rental contract, there's a lot of big words, there's a lot of confusing official language, right? And that can be very scary, right? But don't worry, we'll take a look at a little bit of that now. So one option you can have is to have an additional driver. So how many people are going to be driving the car? It's just you or someone else? Right, so let's take a look at what Enterprise says about additional drivers. Okay, additional drivers must meet the same rental qualifications as the renter, except spouse or domestic partner. Okay, additional drivers must appear at the rental counter with the primary renter. Okay, so if someone else is going to be driving the car, they need to be with you when you rent it. There will be an additional charge of $10 per day for each additional authorized driver, other than a spouse or domestic partner. Okay, so if it's your husband or wife that's going to be driving, then you don't have to pay the extra $10. But if it's someone else that's going to be driving the vehicle, then you have to pay $10 per day. All right? There is a limit of one additional driver per rental contract. Okay, so you can only have one other driver. You and the other, you can't have 3 or 4 drivers for this car. So a spouse or domestic partner is the only permitted additional driver on non-credit card deposit. So if you've paid your deposit with some other form of payment, not a credit card, okay, then the only other driver can be your husband or wife. Additional drivers must be 21 or older. Okay, so there's one of our options that we can choose to have an additional driver. Let's look at another option, okay? Refueling service. So when you get the car, it's going to have a full gas tank. And when you return the car, you have a few different options, all right? So option 1, prepay fuel. This option allows the renter to pay for the tank of gas at the time of rental and return the tank empty. No refunds will be issued for unused gas. Okay, so if you choose this option, you get the car with a full tank, you can drive around as much as you want, and when you return the car, it's okay because you've already paid for the full tank of gas. But if you only used half a tank, they're not going to give you money for that other half tank, all right? So option 2 is we refill. Okay, so this option allows the renter to pay Enterprise at the end of the rental for gas used but not replaced. Okay, so if you're only going to use like half a tank, then this option might be good because they're going to refill it at the end when you bring the car back, and then you have to pay however much gas they put in. But the gas is more expensive than it would be at a normal gas station. So the third option is you refill. Now this option allows the renter to return the vehicle with the same amount of gas as received to avoid extra charges. Okay, so you get the car, the tank is full, and then when you're finished driving around, you have to go to a gas station and fill it back up and then return it. Okay, so there's your 3 options. This option, option 3, is always the cheapest option, but these options might be a little bit more convenient depending on your schedule. Okay, so what's going to happen if you damage the vehicle? So you need to find out about insurance. You need to ask them questions about insurance. Now, very often you're going to be paying for the car using a credit card, and your credit card already has some coverage for you. So you need to find out what this is. So you should call your credit card company and you should say, "Hi, I'm going to rent a car. Can you tell me what I need to know? What do you guys cover if I rent a car with my credit card?" Okay? The reason you need to do that is because this guy here might say, for an extra $3 a day, we will cover any damage to the windshield. Okay, so this is a windshield, and here are the tires or wheels, and this is the body of the vehicle. Anything on the outside is called the body, and anything on the inside is called the interior. So here we have the exterior, or the body of the vehicle, and here is the interior. Now, when he says you can have this option to have $3 extra a day for any damage to the windshield, okay? Now that means if you don't take this option, then any damage to the windshield you have to pay for, and that might be like $300 or $400 or maybe higher, right? Sometimes windshields can be very expensive. So you need to sort of ask them all these kinds of questions, and I think it's probably different in every country. So it's hard for me to say because I've never rented a car in most countries, right? I don't know how they rent a car in Australia or New Zealand or the UK or Germany. I don't know where you're going to travel. I know about in Canada here, but I think it's probably different in other countries. So that's why you need to do some investigation and find out how to do this, okay? So a very important word is the word coverage. So the guy might say, windshield damage is not covered by the insurance. Okay, so the insurance might cover only like body damage or I don't know, interior damage or something, but the windshield isn't covered. So that's why he's saying for an extra $3 a day, we will cover any damage to the windshield. These things can be very confusing, okay? A rental contract, all these different policy and options, it can be very scary. But you know what? I think you can do it if you just go there to the counter, try to talk, try to understand what they say, and I think you can do it. Just try. It'll be a lot of fun. And you'll learn, I'm sure you'll learn some English in the process. Okay, so after you sign the contract, then you'll get the keys, and then you can go to the car and do an inspection. Now this is important because you need to walk around the vehicle and see if there's any damage. If you see some damage somewhere, you need to say, hey, look, there's some damage. It wasn't me, okay? And you write it down and make a note of it, because you don't want to be responsible for the previous driver's mistakes. Okay, so let's do some homework. I want you to tell me about a road trip that you want to go on. Personally, I'd love to do a road trip to Alaska. From here where I live in Calgary to go up to Alaska, that would be a lot of fun. Be a bit scary. I think I would have to rent a full-size SUV for that trip. But anyway, let me know which kind of road trip you'd like to go on or why you want to rent a car, and I'll see you over in the next episode of Mad English TV. Take care.